Welcome to House of Origin. I'm your host, Eddie G. This week's guest, I have Dylan. I actually met Dylan online. I had made a post looking for guests online. And Dylan was one of the early people that reached out to me, and he was really interested in being on a podcast. Dylan requested that if we could start with a meditation. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about that and what that means to him. And then he'll introduce himself, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so my name is Dylan. I'm originally from Duluth, Minnesota. Moved down to Texas, Baytown area when I was around 9 or 10, I believe.
So you grew up from born to 9 or 10 about in
Texas, yep.
Okay.
Yep, lived from Brenham to basically Liberty, Dayton area.
Okay. How did you guys get there?
So my dad's actually from Baytown originally.
Okay.
My dad's side, at least, is Baytown originals, and then came from Louisiana, and then, European origin originally. Yeah, that was kind of my dad's side, and, my dad moved up to, he was kind of like a wanderer.
He's like a nomad.
Yeah, he got off into the East Coast, and so his mom was on the West Coast, California and stuff like that. So he grew up down the street from people like Ice Cube and stuff like that.
I grew up in Compton.
Yeah, well, not exactly Compton, but I think it was like the Valley as he's referred to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, close enough. I made it to Minnesota. Duluth, Minnesota is kind of just a major port up there for basically coal and other granule imports.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to start with a meditation today just because for myself, and
Sure.
I imagine for a lot of people, is kind of once they get talking, they can either eventually get into ego or just kind of a place where they just kind of start flying off with things. So before we get into that part, I like to kind of take a minute or two just to ground
Sure.
and really center back into the heart space.
Okay. All right.
I'll kind of facilitate it just kind of so you can, if you ever heard of people talking about being awoke or getting to the third eye and stuff like that, this is kind of for people who have somewhat of imagination. If they want to close their eyes, there's really no need to use what they refer to as the third eye in grounding in like this type of meditation. But we'll get off into that type of arena more on later as they practice this type of stuff.
Sounds good.
So we'll take a big deep breath, close our eyes, hold it for a few seconds. Let it go. Another one, hold it about 4 to 6 seconds. Let it go. All right, we'll do it one more time, one deep breath, probably to 8 seconds. All right, and while you still have your eyes closed, kind of imagine like a little you running down through like a spiral staircase down to about where you believe your heart is.
Okay.
And from there, I want you to imagine you have a big long cable, kind of like something you'd have from a microphone or just any type of cable. Send it all the way down deep into the earth. If you can just kind of bear with me in that imagination real quick.
Okay.
All right. And as it starts to reach the center of the earth, kind of imagine it spiraling out into like a fourth sector corner, north, south, west, east. And that's anchoring in the cable. Take one last good deep breath. All right, you can open your eyes.
So tell us a little bit more about meditation and why it's important to you and what it means to you.
There's more preface that, but eventually I found myself in a space where I was chasing spirituality, and there's so many corners and avenues you can get off into it, and especially in religion.
Okay.
I'm not discounting religion at all, but there's a lot of history and baggage that comes with a lot of it.
Okay.
And I'll kind of leave it there for right now. So meditation is kind of the groundwork or shadow work.
Okay.
Which is something Courtney got into.
Yeah, something Courtney just talked about. So that's kind of interesting that you're coming to talk about something.
I saw that.
That's pretty cool.
When I heard her podcast, I was like, oh my God, like the timing on that.
The timing, man.
Yeah. So even down to the street name, we're coming off of is Rogers. And that's something that's used as kind of a code word for like copy or 10-4 in my work. So it's like, Roger, like copy that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's getting off track. But so meditation, it allows you to settle in, kind of ground out like any negative energy, or just kind of allow yourself to get back into the heart space, away from all the razzle dazzle or whatever, what's going on in your mind. And it kind of like centers you back to your truth.
Okay.
From like the meditation that we just did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we just did there in
How
that
did you
meditation.
get started, or when did you get started with meditation?
So I started probably about, I'm going to say 2 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I know exactly when. It was probably about this time of 2024.
And what got you into meditation?
And everything kind of circles back. But this is kind of a crazy story here. So in May of,
This year?
actually, it's even a lot further than that. It's March.
Okay.
March of 24.
Okay.
I had gotten a dream of like an ex, and I'm married. You know, so I'm like, I'm really trying to do
Like,
the, I'm really trying to do
the fuck are you talking about on this fucking podcast?
Exactly. I'm like, I'm really trying to do the right thing. Like, I'm not trying to be a dog out here. Like, I got away from that,
Okay.
you know? So I had a dream of this woman, and it's like, man, like, something's not right here. This is kind of like a bell signal to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of sit on that for a couple of days. And prior to that, I'd already been into journaling. I've been into journaling since I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like trauma work type stuff,
sure,
but also just to, I don't know, I always found a good space in journaling. I sat on this for probably a couple of weeks, and then right before I went back to work, I think I went to visit a psychic out of Galveston. And it was like a day or two right before I went back to work. And one of the things that was said in that session was bell. And that sat with me for a little bit. I think they'd also mentioned like a tower, which for anybody in this space will know exactly kind of what those symbolisms are. At the time, I had no clue. I didn't know exactly what a lot of it was, other than the verification that they got me of, I walked in with a general type figure and a little girl type figure, in which they gave confirmation. One of them was my grandfather, and the other one we couldn't trace.
Okay.
I also went in there to kind of get to the ground of like, why am I getting these types of dreams? So anyway, we're leaving that with Bell and Tower. There was a Del Retro storm in 24, probably around May or so. It was May 15th, May 16th area. I think it was like 1,000-mile type wind. It was like one of those like unforeseen, just kind of freak events.
Yeah.
Well, what that did was it did wipe out from basically Katy to, I think, somewhere around Greater East Houston. And I think it was right before that day. So I work on a boat, towboats, oil and gas sector.
Okay.
We were coming out of a port in Galveston, and you can even look it up. May 16th, 2024, Galveston, towboat. It's going to be the first thing up.
Okay.
Boat hit a bridge, Seawolf Park. And this was like the same year all the boats were hitting bridges. And yeah, and there was a whole lot of people that were like really skeptical of.
Yeah, why are they hitting bridges?
Yeah. It's like, no, some of those are freak accidents.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit the bridge, and that Del Retro storm blew in. And this was the second part of that being crazy. You know, not only was it just a bridge, you know, being hit and everything with this oil spill, it was a whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up taking time off from that. But right after that happened, that storm blew in. And I think it was either just as the storm was blowing in or right before. I told my wife, like, I knew she was going to do like some photography.
Okay.
You know, she was going to take pictures. And I said, in the place you're going to, do not park near any trees or anything to that sort. And
because of the wind and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. And within hours of me telling her this, there was I really hate to say this but there was a mother that went out and checked on her car, and as she did, a tree fell on her car.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was just kind of one of those things of like, I don't know if that was something that transferred or what.
Like you had like a premonition that something like that might happen. So you were kind of already thinking ahead, like, hey, this might happen, so don't do that. Yeah.
So that was kind of a major event in my life, was that May area.
So that's when you started thinking like,
yeah, I was like, there's more to life going on here. Mm-hmm. And but nobody could tell me what. So I went on kind of that deep journey that some people go on of just like digging, searching for some type of information.
Do you know what that information was? Like, what was it that you were seeking?
It was just something to spirituality, like something to make me believe in something bigger. Mm-hmm. I think around that time I was probably looking at some podcasts that, do you know about OBEs or what they call NDE, near-death experience?
Yeah, I do. I've had a couple of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, so there's this podcaster out there. He's huge now.
What's his name?
He's out of San Antonio, actually.
Okay. Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah. But, you know, he worked with people out in California and like kind of big names in the industry. Yeah. So that's Next Level Soul podcast. His name is Alex Ferrari.
Okay.
Like he's kind of a down to earth guy, and that's the other thing in navigating spiritual stuff. Is like you have to have a lot of discernment in who you pick and choose to follow.
Okay.
Because some people can lead you down a bad place.
So they kind of bring you in and then lead you down a bad place. So they kind of like entice you to come along.
Yep.
So you have to be careful. Like a lot of times though.
Yeah.
Hey, this is great. Come join. And
exactly.
Then you're like, what am I in the middle of? What am I stuck in now?
Yep. Especially when you're getting in person with some psychics and stuff like that. I don't know. I can't confirm. Very possible that woman that I went and saw in Galveston, I'm not really trying to throw shade here, and maybe I am by saying it, but there was a potentiality of information in some fact, or not information, but magic work, if you will.
Okay.
In some fact that quite possibly could have sent that energy.
Okay.
In that fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back on track here, it was starting with OBEs and NDEs on that podcast, and kind of like just the stories those people were telling about kind of their life and how they've seen certain things happen and stuff like that. It was like, wow. And then I'd actually found kind of like a mentor into this type of stuff.
Okay.
And I paid decent money to get it access to this knowledge. And that's kind of another thing that I dislike about that community sometimes, is it can become gatekeeping in a way.
I was going to say, for knowledge, it should be shared.
Exactly.
It should be shared.
Exactly. I go really too deep, and then with most people, and then like the other side of it is sometimes I'll get lost in just how deep I go.
Okay.
So it's like I'll get off into something, and it's like I don't even know how to get out of this.
Yeah. What are some examples of something that you've gone too deep? Just anything. Just
going into
what made you be like, okay, yeah, I'm too deep.
Well, for a lot of people out there, it takes a really, really open mind just to kind of sit there and listen to esoteric knowledge or any ologies like astrology or cartography, or basically stuff that I believe really should probably be taught in schools, just so that we have a better way of navigating ourselves and lives as we come into adulthood. I'm 26, and at 19, I felt incredibly lost. Growing up in Duluth was really, I don't know, kind of like forest area, a lot of camping.
Okay.
Like just kind of imagine some of the southern hospitality that people talk about.
Yeah.
But just up north, out in the woods.
Okay.
On fresh.
So is it like a small town that you were living in, or is Duluth like a big city?
So Duluth is big. And just to kind of paint Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes. That's what's advertised on their license plates. So it's really outdoors. It's like Louisiana, but better. Full shade to Louisiana. Yeah, so Duluth actually has a population of like 110,000, so it's not small by any means.
Yeah.
But everything else out and around, far from that. I mean, the town that I grew up had a population of like 556.
Wow.
Yeah, let's go Minnesota. So anyway, growing up there, specifically like, it was like Gary, Minnesota. Growing up in trailer parks, some of my earliest recollections were like in a house downtown, like crawling up a kind of one of those old porcelain sinks.
Okay.
And I grabbed one of my dad's razors and pretended to shave, and I immediately cut myself.
That's your earliest memory?
That's like one of my earliest memories, yeah.
You know about how old you were?
That's probably every bit of 2.
Oh, wow. You
maybe 3.
2. Wow.
Yeah. And it's taken me, like, when I'll say I was offering to drugs and stuff, back around 17, 19 years old, no memory of any of this stuff. When you're that deep into stuff, like a lot of memories and stuff.
Everything just goes by, man. You're only thinking about drugs and
how to get to the next thing.
Yeah, well, how to get to your next hit.
Yep. So going back to like 3, it was in trailer parks and stuff like that. And we had a little 3-bedroom trailer. It was pretty good condition, but I'd kind of always seen like my mom and dad, like I knew we weren't of money by any means. There was always some kind of something about money.
Mm-hmm.
And getting off into like 4, 5, and 6, there was like little bits of not so good information. For example, like when probably around the age of 5 or 6, we were at one of my dad's friends' houses, and I was playing with their daughters and everything. It was a pretty good day. Next thing I know, it was getting kind of late. They were having drinks and stuff like that. And next thing I knew, I pass out, and I wake up and we're still there. Like, why are we still here? Yeah. There was some things going on in the back bedroom.
Okay.
Which I later found out kind of addition to that was drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow. later finding out, this was just a couple of years ago, I found out about that. But like 6, 7, 8, my dad's in and out of jail a lot.
So your dad was a drug user, a drug addict?
Yeah, but it's primarily weed.
Primarily, okay.
Like that was the main thing I saw. Later, I did find out that it was like charter stuff.
Yeah, no, because my dad, I talked about it on the podcast. He's a drug addict, alcoholic, all that stuff. He did terrible.
Yeah, and now he's been relatively clean. It's just like that last thing he can't shake is alcohol.
Oh, man, it's a devil of a drug, man.
That and sugar.
Yeah.
Which they're kind of both the same thing.
Yeah, like I'm an alcoholic, so I've been sober for a year and 7 months going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a devil of a drug, man. It is. It just. I mean, you don't let it go, man. Nope. It doesn't let you go. Mm-hmm. Like there's people like my grandfather. He went into sobriety a long time ago. He's been sober like 40 years or something. And we were talking about sobriety. I thought, he's been sober for however many years. He's always talking about it. Like he doesn't have any problems with alcohol anymore. Mm-hmm. And so we were talking about sobriety one day when I started getting sober, and he was just telling me about his story and stuff. And he was like, I see the bottle in my head right there in front of me. Goodness. With the lid on. And I know the one thing that I hear all day is all you got to do is take off the lid to get to alcohol. Like it tries to negotiate what you believe in. You try to negotiate that in your head. Like, well, I mean, it's there. It's just one. It's just a sip, just a taste. But that immediately turns into 1, 2, 5, 10. Now you're on a bender.
If you were to take that alcohol aspect out, if you were to just, okay, like we have the bender and the love. If you were to take it off, like I'll take just the cap off, here's what it'll be. If you replace the alcohol with beliefs and calmness, stillness, and just knowing that you're loved, and that's what many, 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 many people are actually really chasing deep down is love. If you can go through the long, incredible journey of getting back to that, that's what I see. So around 7 or 8, my dad tried to put us through church and stuff like that. And I bucked it when I was younger. I bucked it hard. I'd try to sleep in. I tried not to wear the right. I would throw a fit. Mm-hmm. I'd been given the kind of the kids' versions of the Bibles and stuff like that. I never read the whole book, like the kid version. Okay. Where they kind of paint the whole picture in broad scale. Yeah. And it was like a great story. But at the end, it's like everything goes terrible, like Revelations. It's like, what what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get behind it. And I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but that was kind of just my problem with religion in general. Is there's sort of a martyrdom or like just a lot of baggage, or like if you don't love me sort of thing. Like it has a lot of negative connotations that come with it. When really, like, the biggest thing is love yourself and do right. Love others and do right. Don't do anything you wouldn't do, like the golden rule and stuff like that. Yeah. When I hear alcoholism and just any addiction, being on the other side of it myself, there's some deep work to be done on yourself.
You can't. It's hard to do for others when you don't have nothing going on.
I'll fully admit that sometimes it's just like that's all you got. That's all you got. Sometimes you're just alone in that corner. Yeah,
especially in the world of drugs, man. Like, I always talk about it and it's just say, man, if you knew all the things that I've done for drugs, like I haven't even shared everything with anybody, but I talk about it a lot. But man, I've done some crazy shit, stupid shit. But you're right. When you're in the middle of that, that's all you're thinking about.
Sometimes the desperation is that hardcore that you're willing to do really, really bad things. Yeah. Things you would never consider doing. While it's not right, what would the best mother in the world do?
Just hug you, tell you she loves you. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be okay.
That's okay.
I got you.
Just that level of grace, stillness.
So what do you say to people that don't have any kind of love in their life? They don't have anybody to love them. Because there's plenty of people like that.
Love is an inside job.
Oh, so you're saying that they should love themselves first.
Yeah, but that phrase has, once again, so much baggage and, some people are really stuck in their head. Yeah. But no, what we're saying is like, go back to that meditation at the very beginning. Yeah. There's going to be some bad stuff that comes up. Yeah. I've had literally a picture of a devil come up while my wife while I was kind of meditating. My wife was braiding my hair, and like literally a picture of a devil came up because I was, just doing the work. Mm-hmm. There seems to be like a cyclical thing for me, especially the last 5 years or so, around this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Like the holidays and stuff?
Yeah, and not only that, it's also, for a lot of people, they'll refer to it as like the the wintertime sadness or something, or like
I've heard of
seasonal
that. Yeah, I've heard
depression or
seasonal
whatever.
depression. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I've been in a pretty good place, all things considered, all year. This is where I like to say a lot of times I'm a pretty good person, all things considering. But like, for example, my dad just took my car to borrow it while his truck was in the shop. And I really wanted to be the type of person that was like loving and accepting, like, yeah, take it, however long you need. But here's like the place I'm coming from. I only have days on land before I have to go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like my get away from home type of thing. And it's like, you kind of just robbed me of my pastime, my joy, even though it's materialism, even though I should be like not worried about it. That was my little fun that I was going to have and you kind of just took that away.
Mm-hmm.
You asshole. So there's a part of me that's being really, really, really petty at this moment in time. And like, he's called me probably 20, 30 times just in the past 3 or 4 days. And I'm blocking it. Like, I'm ready to kind of let him like go off to your own thing. Like, I don't care. It's to say, don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of spirituality, or other part of like standing in your power, is sometimes you have to be willing to tell people just silently go fuck yourself. Yeah. We should be like that. We should be willing to give as it's necessary, and like what Jesus has taught, like if they want an eye, let them take the eye. If they want the cheek, but you have the alpha male sitting in the back, it's like, no, fuck that guy. Like, let's kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just ready to go to war at anything. And that's really not what we need to kind of be at, but be ready to do.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved Courtney's episode.
Thank you. Shout out Courtney.
Yeah, shout out Courtney. And she's a huge advocate for the judicial system and family matters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And here's where I sit on this. Politics, we're really so far gone in the United States, but probably the world, that there needs to be something much bigger than just sitting at the table talking anymore. Because people don't do that. Like, they said yeah, and they just kick the can down the road. Like, no, it's down to radical stuff.
Okay. Like what? Tell me.
Probably things we shouldn't, like bearing arms type of things.
Yeah.
Like bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get up to like universal and angelics, that is the thing they're trying to stop.
What is it?
Like the universe and angelic. Okay, like those type of energies, much higher dimensional energies that you eventually access through shadow work and stuff like that. They're truly trying to stop us from going to war with each other, but we're kind of still in that deal.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in our universe alone, I believe, after watching like many astrologers and people that report on like the sun and like what types of X-rays and stuff like that they're throwing out, if you sit there and watch, there is sort of a correlation between the sun and how people are feeling, as well as the moon. You got to think you're 70+% water. You know how much it throws tides and stuff on the earth? You think it doesn't affect you? Get out of yourself. It's like the moon plays with your emotions and the sun plays with your knowledge.
Okay.
When it throws out like a high ray, dense plasma, energetic, be thinking about what kind of possible information is coming to you real soon. So all those types of things being considered, like angelics and other forces of nature out there, they're really trying to get us, they're trying to like diffuse us, as well as get us into like a place of peace and stuff without blowing ourselves up, because we have that potential to completely mess up the world. It's kind of like fighting it at both ends. And that's where I say to the alpha male, like, if you're going to do something, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like fighting the beta or the theta or whatever about how, they didn't embrace their manhood and blah, 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 blah. Why don't you go out there and do something? You know what I'm saying? So
no, I get you. I
just had to fight that little battle really quick, because I've been both. I've been the alpha, the go out in parties, and I mean, I enrolled in the Navy when I was 18, and I got out because it felt like school to me. We weren't in wartime; we were in peacetime.
Yeah,
and that was more about the wartime stuff. Also, bringing that out into like my now present type of calm self, even though I'm really anxious talking today. But like going back into my past really quick, I'll kind of speed up to like getting into Texas. As my dad did. I didn't grow up in like the perfect household either.
Sure.
The one thing I really can say about my dad is he stuck around and generally held the responsibilities. Moving down to Texas, like 9, 10, he always tried to say it would be better, but it was really kind of the same thing, except for I was far removed from the family and friends that I knew. So it was like, I'm happy to be in Texas, but there's nothing here for me.
Okay.
And it was really hot. The
Yeah,
night we,
this Texas heat is something else, man.
which now I'm grateful for it. Like now I say screw the cold because I have to
Because
work
it's
in
super
it.
cold up there, right?
Yeah, like the night we left was negative 30 degrees,
Jeez.
and we were all packed in the truck. Like me and my brother were packed in the truck, freezing,
I can't
in
imagine.
a '92 Suburban, freezing our butts off while they
Wow.
were in the store getting supplies and stuff we would need
Yeah.
for the drive home or drive to Texas.
How long did it take you guys to drive down to Texas?
It's about a 24-hour drive, just depending on how you
Yeah.
possibly could make it even 18 to 20, but just depends on what you got to do.
Yeah. Wow. So you get to Texas.
Yeah, we get to Texas and it's rocky. They get married in 2011 for about 2 or 3 months. And I don't know if you listen to Drake at all, but
Mm-hmm.
for my generation, they kind of know the Z's, as people say. There's a lyric by him that goes, I watched my parents split up right after the wedding. I told my ass, stay committed, fuck the credit. So anybody who's married right now, just remember that. And there's a lot of things that really try to drive a wedge in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if anybody's on social media, which is so difficult to not be on social media these days, there's a lot of provocative things out there for men, like
Yeah.
driven straight to men. But yeah, so we get down to Texas, and my dad's working 70, 80-hour weeks in plants down here. It's kind of like a booming time for the refineries, turnarounds and whatnot. So we're in Baytown. We live off of Massey Tompkins. And then we moved to, I believe it's right there, the food town by Lee College. Can't remember exactly that area, what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad ends up meeting this other woman, and he's kind of messing around quite a bit. Bring him back to the house sometimes. My brother, he was kind of paying, he was a whole thing by himself. He's 18 now. So, I mean, there was one day that everybody in the house was sleeping, and I think somebody woke up and found him outside running around in the street.
Your brother? How old was he?
3.
Yeah.
And this wasn't like a great neighborhood either.
Yeah.
So my mom caught a lot of flack off of that from my dad and everybody else. Something I even tried to tell my brother is like, as bad of a picture has been painted for our mother, she's not a terrible person. The mother that I knew was incredibly loving and all those types of things. For anybody who knows astrology well, it is basically the perfect picture of like a Virgo, Libra, and like a Capricorn, Aries type of situation,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically like love and peace versus war and materials.
Okay.
Eventually, they end up separating. My mom tried to kind of make it out down here and just couldn't. So she moved back up north. They separated. We went with our dad, and we lived in Liberty.
Do you mind me asking how you made that decision to go with your dad versus your mom? And if you don't want to talk about it,
No, that was a wild decision. During that time I played a lot of PlayStation 3, Gran Turismo, all kinds of things. And my favorite album was Eminem and Royce da 5'9", which was actually Bad Meets Evil. Welcome to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Hell. Favorite album. And so I was playing Gran Turismo, listening to Welcome to Hell, and all of a sudden I hear glass shattering, things being thrown around. I eventually kind of peek out the door in the living room, and it is a wreck in there. Like, them big old TV centers that people used to have,
like an entertainment center,
all over the place. Holes in walls. I was like, oh, shit, I'm gonna stay in here.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, things kind of settle down. I think my mom walks in there first, and then my dad chimes in. And then he walks in there like, look, we're separating. Who are you going with? Like, you got 30 seconds.
So you had to decide right then and there.
Like it was, well, you're going to go with security. So I went with my dad. All things considered, my dad did with what he's known. He was the type that grew up in a boys' home. My grandfather was a cop, alcoholic, relatively abusive, but good man as he grew up. My grandmother she died when he was 16. So he was a man that did with what he knew.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted to me many times growing up, he's like, I didn't really know what to do as a father when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
So once I turned 13, we ended up in Liberty.
Okay.
So mind you, my stepmom, which they're still married, good for them. Everything has been somewhere around 10 years. My stepbrothers were like the perfect picture of helicopter parent, saran wrap, bubble wrap kids. And so it was like, the darkness meets the light here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here I come in kind of like black sheep bucking everything. Like, I'm not following this, I'm not doing that, blah, 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 blah. No. Mm-hmm. You know where I just came from? You know?
Yeah.
So tries to be best friend, buddy, parent, and authority all in the same figure, and no, not having it. That's what kind of started me on the journey of 14 schools.
Okay. Because how old were you when your parents separated?
11, 12.
11, 12. So
13.
that was like what, middle school?
Yeah.
Like 6th, 7th grade or so?
7th and 8th grade, I seen 4 out of 5 junior highs in Baytown or Goose Creek, because it was also Highlands. And then I'd seen Liberty Junior High, Brenham Junior High, and then I was back and forth between Baytown and Brenham.
So you guys were just moving a lot, and that's why you were going to different schools?
I was moving a lot.
Okay.
My mom was not secure and had her own things. I wouldn't call them addictions, but just like kind of like food and cigarettes, like just kind of the basic things. She was still trying to provide for herself. So as a kid, you had not a rich household, but one that was like okay enough to kind of get out and do things. And you're set back into poverty. Like we were kind of in the hood over there in Baytown, over there by the old meth hospital. I wasn't really comfortable in that area, and I don't know if I got into a fight over there or not, but it was just like very depressing place. Yeah. So back and forth between basically Brenham, Baytown, and Liberty area, all throughout junior high. Eventually settled out in Brenham for 8th through 10th, and then it was really nice, really like all things rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
For all things considered. I was doing really good. But anyway, in Brenham, I guess people were trying, like not trying, but starting to see maybe me possibly going down that same road. And so me and my grandma ended up getting into it. Not necessarily like fighting, just like conversations. And I was an avoidant person. Like I'm non-confrontational. Like we can confront it, but I'm going to blow up eventually. End up leaving there and go back to graduate out of Liberty. I graduated, had some good friends, stuff like that. Pretty decent high school, small town thing. I ended up going to the Navy with one of my good friends. And we both ended up separating, which in the Navy, so in boot camp, you don't really, like, okay, if you go in with somebody, you don't know where they're at, what they're doing, anything like that. Like any time past the bus, 9 times out of 10, good luck seeing them again until you're done with all your schools and everything like that. Well, crazy part is we both end up leaving at the same time. We end up seeing each other's separations, and it's like, what happened to you? Type of thing. Yeah. So we end up leaving, and I end up going out towards like Beaumont area, and I'm working for like Twin Peaks, Papa Do's, just anything I do kind of get by. I end up going to Lamar University for like 3 months. None of that works out. I go back to DayZeta. I'm in concrete, and this is kind of where I have my first, I don't know what you call it, kind of like your first wake-up call. Or your first like
sign.
Yeah, near, I'm not going to say near death because I didn't, nothing happened to me, but it was pretty freaky. I was operating a front-end loader, and mind you, this thing is, it's basically like the big tractor with the big dump thing, if anybody knows what that is. So in concrete, loading the rocks in the sand, like 4 a.m, up into this hopper, very large hopper. The control, this thing is already kind of raggedy, but the control, like I've gotten this thing unstuck many times before, but the control this time would not unstick. And that thing just kept coming down and down and down. Well, it came down crashing into the hopper, and it started lifting up the front end loader backwards, like it was pushing down that hard, and eventually it let go. And when it finally let go, it was kind of like the hydraulics sprung a leak, and so like it just kind of flung up, and the loader kind of like came crashing down and started, because you had to go up a hill to get to this hopper, so it started going backwards. So it was like, good God, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So and you really thought that?
Yeah, like it was like type of thing that shakes you to your core.
Yeah,
might as well consider it a train wreck. So yeah, I take a couple of days off, and like they were gracious enough not to fire me, but I didn't know any better. I thought I was fired anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'm done. Well, this is the longest I've been unemployed at this point, which I think you've been talking about unemployment and how rough that is. Yeah. So this is where I'll say to anyone unemployed, sometimes it's a matter of getting out and getting away. That was kind of like my mindset eventually. Granted, this is kind of like what kicked me off into addiction as well, which CBD in like 2019 was really popular, the kind you vaped. So I was really heavy off into CBD. I think at one point I was high and not sleeping for like 50 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. When I get home, I just sit there and write and like smoke, write, and drink water. Like I had a gallon of water sitting.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like, I just need to get away. I need to go do something. And my answer to that was like maritime, getting out on the water, going to work out there. So for some people, it would be going out to West Texas and going out and work oil and stuff like that. Some people, it's California. Some people, it's Europe. And granted, your limits at that point are your money, your resources.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out there was a kid that I played with football with in like, I don't know, early junior high, which I played football pretty much 9 or 10 years. So middle school or elementary to high school, which Liberty Panthers went like 2 spots away from state.
Wow.
The year I was in, it was like, hell yeah. So it turns out I played football with this guy, and his dad was like a barge operations manager. That was the actual position. And he's like, yeah, just tell him to apply. We're always looking for deckhands. I was like, okay. So I apply. And I still have pictures from back then. It was like, wow, I really look like a washed up douchebag back then. I was surprised. And I had this gray Pontiac. So I made it past like the preliminary stuff. And once I made it to like the secondary office, they're like, somebody has a car out there. It's still running. And they kind of looked at me like, Dylan, is your car still running? I was like, yes, leave it alone. If we shut that thing off, it might not fire up for another 3 or 4 hours. God bless Pontiac. I guess that's why they're out of business.
It is what it is.
Yeah, no, it was looking back, I had good memories in that car. It was like,
yeah,
it's kind of like that thing of like the worst of the worst. You still kind of reminisce. It's like finding the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But just had to get out, get away, and now I've been in that career for like 5 years.
Wow. And what exactly are you still a deckhand?
No. Now I'm actually a steersman apprentice. I'm a level 4, so there's like 2 sides to my thing. Then I've also been in like the office supervisory role, which I took for like a year, and I kind of seen like the bad side to office personnel.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
gonna
much
go.
worked in offices for a while, and office politics, man.
Exactly.
You got to learn that game,
Yeah.
or else you will go nowhere.
You got to know how to please the right person and win.
Yep. It's all about who likes who.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna get away before somebody ends, cutting my head.
Mhm.
You're not gonna get me. I've been here 3 years already.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. So I go back to the boats. By this point, I'm like topped out, level 4, as you can go in my position, which is tankerman. And then in just last year, I'd gotten my steersman apprentice, which is basically learning to steer the boat. So kind of right below pilot position, which this is where I'll say, like, for anybody who thinks the bridges and stuff were like an inside job, like, no, these boats and ships and stuff are hard enough as it is to steer, especially during the night. Like, if you have no moon, no radar, no nothing, like, you're done. You're going to hit something. It might be a bank, like shore, or it might,
You're hitting something.
You're hitting something eventually. So just give those people grace. It's stressful enough. It's oil and gas. I've done everything from sulfur to diesel to VGO to all kinds of these different products. Make 6 figures. Have been since 23. Not to toot my own horn or anything. Just
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah, like
you're proud of your success.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not just some Joe Schmo, and even if it was, this Joe Schmo might have a little bit more information that you should probably.
Yeah.
Even if it is complete BS, something probably could still be learned from it.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing, to be an open-minded.
Yeah, and that's why I love this podcast and the nature of it, is because I get to talk to all these really interesting people that you might never meet, connecting with people that are on a much bigger, place in life.
Yeah.
And I get to find out. I get to meet people. And a lot of times they just love sharing their stories, because they're like, I wouldn't have this opportunity any other way, but I want my story to be heard. It's like, great, let's do it.
Yeah. And, there could be someone from the United States who at one time made an impact, or somebody that used to live in the United States. If you go deep down the rabbit hole of like CIA and, all these 3-letter agencies, like, they have a lot of people working overseas.
Yeah. And
some of them are actually out looking for this type of stuff to either shut down or try to find a level of control back into. It's intelligence is what their game is.
CIA, leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. There's a level of good and bad to all that, but it's just to say that, like, people could have an ear from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
It's pretty cool though, man. Like,
it
I was
is.
just like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, people are liking it. Let's do it.
Getting into the kind of the spiritual portion is from like 19. I kind of was telling you about the whole kind of drugs and stuff like that, and just trying to find my way into like some type of career or whatnot to make money. Well, once I did finally make it onto the boats, these boats, like a lot of them, are very abundant in resources. For example, like food wise, everything's stocked. Like,
Yeah, you mentioned that to me.
Yeah.
That to me. Yeah.
Yep. So it was like, how do you, like, you got all the stuff at your disposal, and to, admittedly, like, say at the beginning, like I was kind of pigging out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this good stuff. Like, why not? It's for us to eat.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, I had noticed like my cognitive and, quite frankly, like a lot of the like vascular, we'll say like ED type stuff. Like I just felt like dog water. It was like, why? I'm only 20. Like, no reason for this. So that's where I began like my PhD in YouTube, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at my analytics when I kind of wrote you kind of like the foreground of of this story. I looked at my analytics of YouTube, and it's like I kind of put in like a full-time job in watching YouTube, pretty much 40 hours a week, except for when I'm home. That I just kind of went into what's going on around me. But a lot of times I'm in a place where I kind of know what I'm doing, and I can listen to something while I'm working, whether it's polishing or doing something on the engine, changing oil, what have you. Sometimes just cleaning up, doing dishes, whatever. It started out kind of like, and this was also in the time of COVID, literally 2 or 3 weeks after I began this job, this career.
Oh, wow. Did y'all see an impact?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The world was shut down.
Yeah.
So for us, it looked like, okay, the rest of the world is shut down. We'll just stay at work. There's nothing out there for us.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the time that I rode the longest, was like 74 days before I touched land.
Wow.
Which, the ships can go 90 days and then they're 3 days or 3 months on land. It's weird. Crazy. I don't know how they do it. Yeah, so I began looking at like how to eat. And after like 2 years of chasing that rabbit hole, it became basically the complete opposite of whatever it does, is a lot of meat or dairy or refined foods. Admittedly, I'll say like the meat does have its place. Most meats have a lot of things all kind of in bulk all at once. But what it also does, like it's hard for the body to process. The thing with fruits and vegetables, a lot of the things that we need is in the fruits and vegetables. We need far less than we believe we do. In 22, I was running marathons and eating fruits and vegetables, weighed 156, felt amazing. Absolutely amazing. And now I'm at like 205.7, and there's a lot of days I feel really sluggish. I feel strong in a sense. Like I can recognize where there's a lot of contraction in my blood vessels and maybe a little bit more muscle. So I can see in that sense where I'm like, it feels stronger to me. But overall, I felt a lot better at 155. Cardiovascularly, stuff like that. Now I think it's past 180 to 200. Like every once in a while, I kind of feel like stuff with my heart. Yeah. Like it's nothing feels right. But it takes a lot of work to stay down at that range. And like on the boats, like anything is available to you, man. It's so hard to eat. And that's what I think a lot of us face. Like if we were forced to eat just fruits and vegetables, number one, we'd feel better eventually once we kind of get that detox out of the way. And number two, we'd probably eat less or more. Honestly, actually probably more. But it would become, the problem with like meat, dairy, and processed stuff is they have a lot of salt, sugars, and chemicals in there to kind of like keep you addicted. So once I kind of got that picture out of the way, once I figured that out, I was like, okay, let me get into strength and conditioning, because people are looking at me eating all this and that, and they're like, you're up, And I'm like, okay.
So were you heavier at this time, or you were still pretty
Oh, I was getting lighter.
Oh, you were getting lighter?
Yeah, like,
from eating all the
yeah. And I was even doing like, well, I mean, I eventually stopped. Like I got to a level of control that I could get back to that just because I had so much will to find out. And it was COVID. So that was the other part. As I felt like eating like all this. Sure, the people that were catching COVID were probably dying from COVID, but there's a lot of people that had, and this was something they were saying too, a lot of people that were catching it, that were dying, had underlying conditions. So it's like, okay, where are these conditions coming from? It's like a 3-part system. It's hereditary, lifestyle, and then part 3 is your diet. So if you look at the underlying conditions and the overall sickness that came with it, like, yeah, some people got knocked out. So I conquered the whole food and how to move around and what's like the good measure of keeping yourself active, which is how tired are you? Can you go a little further? You know, because I've done 12-hour shifts and ran 1.5 miles.
Damn.
I've done, my job at the end of the day, and then I've ran 15 miles. Like, it all can be done. It's just how much are you keeping in the tank for reserve for what you have to do tomorrow, and how much do you want to build? But at the same time, there's the rest portion. So it's all day by day, week by week.
I appreciate you talking about this, man, because I'm actually, so before COVID, you mentioning that, I was in shape too.
Yeah.
I used to run every day. I was good.
Yeah. And
then COVID happened and we just stayed home. I started eating shit. And I gained all this weight and I was like, fuck. But it's inspiring, man, to hear that self-will.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like if you really want to do something, like you have to get up and go do it. Absolutely. And try. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man, to hear your journey on that front. And it's helping me be more understanding of what I'm doing wrong versus why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I just want to feel better.
That's it.
I just want to feel better. I don't want to wake up feeling like you said, all sluggish and like carrying all this weight. You're tired. Your legs hurt. I don't want to feel like that anymore. I didn't feel like that before, but
it's like being on drugs, except for you don't have like the benefit of being on drugs.
Yeah.
Short. Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, please.
Please don't do drugs. But yeah, I want to drop some names for people to go look and follow. Like a big thing, kind of the pinnacle of that whole. A lot of people call it vegan, and there's more to it than just vegan. It's at the highest tier, if you will, that I got to was fruitarian. Below that is like raw food. I forget all the names, but there's like more than just vegan. I went to this convention out in like Prairie View, I think. And this guy, his stage name or like his handles or whatever is Yaki Awakened, which he kind of teaches like detox and herbs and all that. But yeah, Yaki Awakened, or his government name is Alexander Higman. On the working out front, if you will, is like David Goggins. Yeah. When I was like, I would...
Dude, can't stop, man.
I would drill myself by listening to like his speeches and stuff for hours while I ran. Like, I think it was like 15 miles is like 3 hours. And when you're doing distance, running isn't what you think it is. Running is like 6 miles an hour, maybe 9 if you're a badass. But
that's fucking crazy.
It's really a jog. It's not really running. But yeah, a bunch of other names are like, okay, Robert Morse, Alfredo Bowman, that's Sabi. There's another guy that I listen to quite a bit. His name's Eli Martyr. We got T. Colin Campbell, Caldwell Esselstyn, Mark Gregor, Mike Fremont, Elizabeth Lambert. She is like a model out in California. She was actually in one of Eminem's music videos. I think it was Superman.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Superman. And but yeah, she's like a vegan. Dude. And there's a lot of people that are really big that are actually like gotten back to eating fruits and vegetables. And it's like that person, like they're pretty big, and not just like celebrity big, but just a big person, or they look great.
So you were saying that you finally made it to becoming a fruitarian?
Yeah, I did finally make it fruitarian. Like? So I did a lot of fasting too. Yeah. So in like the first I went in fasting was, and when I say fasting, I mean just water, maybe a coffee. But when you get into fasting, like coffee makes, like it gives you an incredible headache. So sometimes I'd do like a pinch of salt or whatever. I'd go just water for like anywhere from 2 days to 7 days. The longest I did, I've only done 2 7-day fasts.
Damn.
That's hard. I mean, past day 3, it's not so bad, but I'm just trying to paint the picture that the mind is a limiting thing. Like I got a deckhand right now where he eats like, it's like 4 times each watch, and a watch is 6 hours. So he's eating like 8 times a day.
Damn.
He was like, the other day, he was like, I'm so hungry. I was like, you're not hungry, you're bored. He's like, well, I missed lunch. I was like, well, that's because you missed 1 meal out of your 8. But it's people's willpower, and the body can be trained. I think there was somebody that says it takes like 21 days to break a habit. Like, yeah, of course something's hard because you haven't done it before or you haven't done it long.
Mm-hmm. So what do you owe, like, you're obviously very disciplined. Have you always been like that, or was this something you learned later on in life? Because that's one of my biggest issues is being disciplined.
I'll say I wasn't necessarily the most disciplined. I mean, okay, when I was younger, I had like OCD because like growing up in the trailer, I think it was the first trailer we had, like my room was packed full with toys.
Mm-hmm.
Like little, I say toys, they're like little trinkets and stuff. Like you'd have probably a lot of kids born in like the 80s or 90s would know. Because after the 2000s, nobody has toys. It's video games. Let's be real. But I had toys like all over the place. My room, like you couldn't walk in my room. There was like a foot stuff.
Damn.
Just from, and majority of it was from grandparents, or I don't know where it came from, honestly, but I know it wasn't from my parents. So eventually I went and slept on the couch, and I slept on the couch for like 2 or 3 years. And I had this one little, there was like this three-layer drawer, like red, yellow, and green. And I kept that thing like so clean, and I kept the living room clean and everything. It was like a level of OCD. I was like, I'm never going back to that again. Yeah. And that's what it takes to have that level of discipline. And if you go listen to David Goggins, he has this. So I'm not going back to that place. I refuse. It's like a level of pissed off and absurdity that people will call you nuts for. People will bat you left and right for. Nobody will understand you. And it's the place where you have to have the level of acceptance and love for yourself, or like and people will eventually say like, oh, you're just better than us, or blah, blah, blah. Like people have all these things to say. It's like, shut up, just let me do this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some people have, because they want to be part of something,
Yeah.
They want to be accepted. They want to be, but a lot of people aren't doing the right things to whatever degree. So you're going to get a lot of buck once you start doing the right things. And you just have to have that level of acceptance going into whether it's diet or exercise, what have you. And then you have the working front of like trying to keep everything in the juggling act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the balance.
Yeah, so I crossed the kind of the discipline portion, and then it got to a point of a lot of people in the community that are like always chiming fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. Like they'll eventually start talking about how they feel this or they got this enlightenment or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but no, I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt great. Like I understood like the part where they were coming from. It was like, yeah, you got all this like mental clarity and stuff like that, but I was still chasing like the spiritual part of it. I was like, where are y'all getting this from? Because I don't got it. Like, what is this? And people who like, okay, this is like a hard bridge to gap here, but for anybody who's spiritual, like, okay, for Courtney, I know, for example, she said like she had these gifts like going strong back in her bloodline. So spirituality and gifts is like it's like another muscle. It's kind of like another discipline, but it's nothing physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's the balance. It's the heart space. It's the capacity for love and the openness to knowledge and all things of that nature. It's communication. That was like kind of the last straw for me. And I had started chasing it in a way, but I didn't know, I still had no clue how to get to it. Like I just knew I wanted it. I'd gotten married at that point, which that was another shock to me. I ended up kind of an alcoholic for our first year, and I didn't really stop drugs either. I think one of the last things I did was mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I did coke, I did weed, I did CBD, but the last thing was mushroom for me. So with mushrooms, I did 14 mushrooms on my first experience. And for anybody who knows mushrooms, that's quite a bit.
What's a usual dose?
A usual dose is probably like, I don't know, 2 to 7 maybe.
How fast did you feel it?
I felt it. I was actually, I probably shouldn't say this, but I was driving. I'm like the worst. So,
so you took them and then you just drove?
Yeah. So I picked them up. I took them on the way. I think I was somewhere on I-45, like
freeway.
Like League City area. And I was driving back to Houston. We lived in the Bel Air area, just north of Sugar Land. And I was going back there. My mother-in-law was in town at the time too, and because this was actually the week we got married. And it's terrible. We were at the laundromat because our washer and dryer wasn't hooked up just yet. Everything else was in. That was the last thing to do. So we were doing laundry. They were doing laundry. I was on my way. And I get there and it kicks in hard. Like it had been that 30-minute time frame, whatever. that it took.
What was the first
I'm
thing that you noticed?
immediately overstimulated. Immediately overstimulated. Like the washers and dryers, like it wasn't so much physical. It was just like a feeling. And it was like just the swirling and everything of the washer. Like it was like a loopy, like cheek to cheek grin. Like I was like, oh my God, this is the best place ever. Wow. So I tried to like keep my composure somewhat. And my wife looked at me, she was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I'm just overstimulated. She was like, can you just go home? So I take myself back home. This is like a 5-minute drive of that. And I walk in the door and like, I need water. Like, I feel like my organs are shutting down type of, I need water. Like, if you ever seen SpongeBob, where they're like, water. Yeah, that's how I felt. So I like downed probably 3 or 4 cups of water. And I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that. I don't even feel good about this either. All the bad choices. So they eventually make it home. We have a discussion in the room. And then I get sent into this tailspin of like I was kind of shown, I guess, in a way, like how me or my dad felt of like being alone, of like trying to take care of, like, it's like the masculine thing of like taking care of responsibilities and yet having to do it alone sometimes, and just what it is to be a man in this world, I guess, and how lonely that can feel, especially like if you die alone and you don't know like the spiritual sense of like your soul is eternal, that you are loved type of thing. I was kind of thrown into that tailspin, and this is where it gets chirpy, but not so much. So I eventually lay down because I just didn't feel good. And my wife's in the bed, and everything's black. I don't feel right. I feel like I have to throw up or just get outside, get air. I walk out into the living room. It was light when I went in there. It's dark now, so that trips me out even more. I'm like, oh yeah, I just went into like another dimension. So I go back in the room, tripping, completely tripping, losing it. And,
how long has it been at this point?
This has probably been 2 hours.
Okay.
And lay down. This is kind of an important piece because this is actually like a true part of meditation, or OBEs, out of body experiences. There's a portion of meditation, or if you're going to try to achieve an out of body experience, that it's like sleep paralysis. It's like kind of this is all like, think of your whole body as a electromagnetic propulsion system. And your brainwaves are always talking to your heart. That's why people say like listen to your heart, or like listen to your stomach, like it's the gut feeling. Eventually you can get yourself down to a state so calm, so peaceful. It's probably around 30 beats per minute in your heart, and people think like, oh, that's dying. And it's like, not yet. 0 is dying.
Yeah.
Maybe -0, if that's the thing. Just kidding. But you're still alive. It's just you're using minimal functions of your body.
Yeah.
The heart and the brain to keep everything going. I'm pretty much at that point in complete darkness, completely stillness. And I didn't know what to call it back then. But now I do think it was like an out of body experience, or like a near death, because I was so gone. And you may have actually felt this, but I was so gone in the darkness that I had no functions of my body. No hands, no legs, no nothing. Like I was maybe torso at best. I don't know if I had seen my wife's hand or like what I was like communicating with, but it was kind of like a pleading, like, let me go back. My wife's hand was like kind of pointing out the window. It was like, I don't know if I looked with my eyes or what, but I looked out and it was like heaven or Las Vegas. And I think this was actually something I wanted to share really quick. Was I never really connected this, and this may not be connected at all, but the Weeknd, which is like another artist I really like, had an early song called Heaven or Las Vegas. And it starts out with like, I'm paying for all my father's sins, so I'll thank him for you. My serotonin's gone a while ago. It's because of you. They say they want God. I say I got heaven. Well, I say I am God. Back when I was 19, I read a book called Jesus the King. And it taught me, and I was on CBD too. So I preface this by saying what the other part that I got from this was that in ecstasy we live. And I was wrong at the time, but I was also right, because there's a level of love that you see on the other side that's unconditional, that feels like complete ecstasy. It's like the ultimate form of love. So when I was 19 and I felt ecstasy, we live, I wasn't wrong, but I wasn't right. Yeah, so that's what I kind of got from it was in ecstasy we live in the Trinity, the body, the self, and the Holy Spirit or something like that. Which the Trinity can be painted in a couple of things. It can be, aside from Jesus, and I might get murdered for this, but I like to paint it as like the mind, the body, consciousness. So going back to the trip real quick, was I was shown you can have heaven or Las Vegas, and I was also shown that it was kind of like the tale of two mothers. And I didn't understand that for a long time either. But yeah, there's a woman called Ann Tucker that is on Next Level Soul that she explains like the mother of creation. And that's kind of like what I feel like was one of the mothers, and the other mother being like the earth mother or my mother. But basically what they're trying to tell me is start living right, we're scaring you straight. And that's what it was. I didn't want to touch another drug. I didn't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
That was kind of like my mushroom experience. It was like, you are in your hell right now. This is your hell.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's kind of like, if this is what you want, this is what you're going to get.
Exactly. There was that. And what spirituality, going down further, has also taught me was that the earth is like a great school. It's here to show us kind of the polarity of everything. And basically to find yourself like, you're brought here in complete love and in complete light. And the earth is the darkness. Welcome to hell. It's not as bad as you think, but it can be worse than what you ever imagined. And really to find the details and all the spiritual, all the angelic stuff, go follow Darius Wright. Darius Wright, he is a really good one because what he's talking about is the OBEs, the other dimensions, and kind of like how to get there. You can watch some of his stuff and it kind of like just kind of paints a broad picture, but ultimately he has a course. I haven't even bought the course myself.
Yeah.
But I've found other things, bought other things, and I kind of know how to do it by myself, just kind of based off of those stuff. But he ultimately kind of paints the picture of what I'm getting at here through his interviews and stuff he's done on other people's podcasts.
So is that something that you would want to do?
Ever? Or like over again?
Yeah, no. I mean, when you're saying that that's what you kind of took from it, like, is that you want to be like kind of like what Courtney was trying to do, like start a business where you're showing people the spiritual side of themselves or how to find that?
There's a part of me that would say yes. There's another part of me that would say like, no. Why? The part of me that says yes is like, because I know other people need to step up and do it. And I know how to do it. And it's kind of like, but at the same time, I'm not fully at Courtney's capacity. I just know the polarity was versus how to get there. And like, when I say Courtney's capacity, okay, this is what I was saying earlier, is that muscle, it's been with her people. For me, it's like not as strong. So
okay, so like for her, it's like muscle memory.
Yeah, it's exactly muscle memory, but it's different. It's esoteric. It's there's a great scene in Wolf of Wall Street where
great movie, by the way.
Yes, love that movie.
One of my favorite.
Where Matthew McConaughey and help me out,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, they were talking at the lunch or whatever. He was like, "Money, it's a fugazi. It's nothing," and that's basically what this energy is. It's everything, yet nothing all at once. It's not. You can't. It's really hard to justify, but if you know, you know. So, where I say she's really great at it, I'm like novice. I just know it.
Yeah.
So
I have to connect you and Courtney, man.
Yeah, and which I'd be open to. I know her website's still down right now because I was kind of looking when I first heard it. I was like,
I told her I'd help her out, with what I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's really cool, man. I learned a lot from her, and now I'm learning a lot from you as well on the same thing. So it's a sign, man. It's that's stuff that I needed to hear.
And that's so.
And you don't know who else is out there that's in the same seat.
Emilio Ortiz. He's another guy my age. He's out of like Argentina though. But somebody told him is like the people of your generation, the Z's, the 25, 26, 27-year-olds. Something that we're meant to do is kind of like bridge the gap in kind of the old people to get whatever knowledge we can out before, their time comes. And then also to bring up the new generation because it's been so blindfolded. So up to this point, in the last 5 years, like just think about how much information has come out. And that's kind of what my generation is meant to do. It's like, we need to start bridging this gap here. And it's going to look kind of ugly at first. It's going to be a lot of navigating in the dark, but in like a universal timing, that's what we're sent here to do. A lot of things come to me in my dreams, honestly. a lot. Like when I was telling you about that
Yeah,
Jasmine,
yeah.
which just happened like literally a night or two ago. I also had, for example, there was like a white truck that rutted up in my yard, and I was so mad. And then my wife sat me down in the front yard, and we like had like a small, like a tiny little table, like some type of picnic thing. And I was shown 3 heads of myself, like 3 versions of myself. And it was like one that floated above me, one that's like at my face level, and then one that's like towards my root, towards like where your sexual organs would be at. If you know about chakra work or chakras, like you got 7 chakras, like you kind of start to paint a picture on that. But it's also, from what I know so far, I could also interpret it as like, here's your higher self, here's like the grounded medium, and the lower self. Or like for anybody who's into, it's not quite astrology. I look at my zodiacs a lot, and I look at my astrology a lot. And I've learned that like over time you can, and I think this is what a lot of people do, and I might be pissing off some like energetic workers because they don't tell you this stuff. But a lot of it is correlation. It's taking the correlation of saying, I'm this moon, this rising, this sun, and whatever little important things that you're trying to make click to what you're doing. So a lot of people work with like love readings, career, and I guess relationship or something. I forget the other third big one. But the 2 big things are love and work. So with that, you look at like, say, Venus and Jupiter or Saturn, something like that. And you can also go at like a cartography, which is basically showing your lines on the world stage, the world map. So like I have a Venus around Miami up to New York. It's like a Venus line for me. I have a sun line in California, Los Angeles area. I think I also have a sun line in Minnesota through Texas.
Okay.
When I lived in Brenham, there was a Uranus. It's basically activation energy over there. And like I was saying, it was like I was doing really good over there. It's weird because normally you wouldn't do good in opposing forces like that. But it was like I was already in opposition. So it's kind of like highlighting it for it to come up. Yeah. In a sense. So it was like so much that I didn't know, that I had to go digging so hard for.
We're born not knowing, right? It's up to you if you want to continue learning more about the world and the things around you, or do you want to be kind of like a robot, being told what to do, where to go, where to clock in, what time to go home.
Exactly.
You know, like.
And it's like, you know, even if you didn't want to know everything else, it's like, okay, do you want to know at least where you should go clock in and work at?
Yeah.
Like, go look at your, I don't know, one of the lines, and how does it correlate to your Jupiter and your sun? You know, like.
So you can kind of find the answers that you can't find anywhere else.
Exactly. Like a lot of my stuff points to the water. I was born on a major port. Duluth, Minnesota is a major port. Second to Minneapolis area or St. Paul area for Minnesota. In Texas, the major ports are Houston and Corpus. So it's like maybe maritime was kind of my destiny.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like you could already be there, but you're questioning it. And it's like, there's your proof type of thing.
Like, you know, it's not what you actually wanted or needed to be yet.
Right.
You're still on that path trying to get to it.
Yeah. And I forgot to also mention, which like I don't really have the passion for anymore, because I kind of see the dark side of it and like the panhandling side of it. But I also have my real estate license, which was something I was kind of chasing since 19. Like I'd started it when I was 19, but never finished until like a year or two ago, just because I had to get that willpower back to say I'm finishing it. Like I wanted to finish what I started, type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that, but it's like I haven't gone anywhere with it, just because I don't know. When you see what it really is, it's kind of ugly. Like it feels like panhandling to me. And it also is like, you could do all this stuff yourself and you have the potential to sue me if I don't do it right. So I'm good. Not only that, but I have to go look and search for the clients. Like I have to actually work just to find people that want to go buy a house at a time like this, when everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to spend the money. So, and like when you get up into the $1 million houses and stuff, like we really start to make the money, when it really starts to be worth it. It's like it's a whole nother people you're catering to. It's all white glove service. Yeah. And you're not yourself at that point.
You're playing a part.
That's it. Playing a part. Which is cool. I mean, it's fun. You get to plot the videos and do all the cute stuff. But it's actually more for the women. You know, sex sells, to be quite blunt. So You make it cute, you make it fun, sexy, you're winning. You provide the white glove service of, I'll buy you this at the end, which you're not supposed to do. That's actually against T-Rex stuff. You're not supposed to provide kickbacks and anything like that.
Of course.
So, I don't know. It's messy.
I mean, it's sales, man. Like I've worked in sales since 2018, and yeah, just like you said, it's stressful, man, to be in sales because you're having to meet like daily quotas, weekly quotas, monthly quotas, yearly quotas.
And God forbid you're in a big firm because you have like a monthly due.
Yeah. But no, I get it, man. Yeah, it definitely resonates, but it is what it is. You don't have to stay in that world. Just like I did. I got out of sales, man. I couldn't do it anymore. I was just like, this is crazy, man. Like you bust your ass all month to make it. And then on the first, you got to do it again.
Oh, yeah. And then you got the one guy who, he said he got like was it an Amazon gift card or something?
Oh, no, that was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I won the top sales rep of the year, I think in 2021. And I got just a bunch of expired bowling tickets.
Yeah. Like, what?
I was like, oh, man, like, damn. And that took out the win, man. I was just like, damn, man, I did all that for this.
Yep.
And then you're just like,
you
don't matter, man. You're just a machine. Like, how many numbers are you pumping out? Okay, thank you. That's your fucking job. That's what we hired you for.
Yeah, like you're better off telling me there's there's no gift at all.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, not even like gift cards, a lunch or something, man.
Exactly. So like, I mean, going back to the whole cartography and like knowing your signs and stuff like that, like you can at least find out what you're supposed to be doing. You could be doing it already. But that's kind of what I wanted to point out here today was that at energetic levels, if you look at what the sun's doing today, you can understand why you're feeling like this. Police stations used to say, I don't know if they still do or not, but they'd be like, okay, we're at a full moon, guys. Like, be extra heavy tonight. Because people are going to start acting, they could be acting themselves. They're getting wild and out, So they're full of that water energy. And then like the tarot stuff, there's the correlation there of like, okay, like the sword is like pertains to the mind. The cup is the emotion, the water body. And then you have the wand, and you also have the pentacles. Like the pentacles is like materialism and stuff like that. There's more than one definition to all these things. It's kind of like in the Bible. Divination aspect that you have to some of this stuff, quite frankly, is for all intents and purposes, can turn into witchcraft really quick. But it's like, I feel like people should just know it as a baseline because it's just to remind people that there's a lot more out there that people could be doing on the back end that you have no clue behind closed doors,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take you to this. Charlie Kirk. Everybody knows about that. Just happened. One part is the House of Representatives was just having a meeting on, they changed the name from UFO to like UAP or something like that. They were just having a conversation on that. And I was like, yes. Like I was excited about that part. I was like, they're finally getting off the Epstein files. They're getting off all the bullshit. Like, show me the aliens. I was getting fired up about this. Kind of branched off into something else there for a second. The movie Contact. It basically points to the picture of in community, in relationships and conversations, being able to have more than one type of language. And language can come in the form of symbols and numbers and stuff like that. And that's kind of what, when I was just starting out in the spirituality thing, I was like, yes, that's the stuff. And it's like, no, it's just, it's what it is. It's another level of language, another level of communication. And I'm putting my neck out on the line, but maybe in 20, 30 years, somebody, will eventually start to see it, as a collective of humans, that when aliens do come, it's going to bring apart another level of communication. In the spiritual community, when they talk about 3D to 5D, kind of what they're referring to is telepathy, stuff like that, being able to just talk without words, communicate without words.
Yeah, and I think that's what Courtney was saying, that at first we communicated without talking.
Exactly.
We were telepathic with each other.
Yep. Which is
real, because like there's moments where like you're thinking about somebody just randomly, and then they text you or call you.
Or,
hey, I was just thinking about you. I don't know why. Like
what's happened to me a lot lately is like with my wife or my coworkers, because those are the two, like I'm around my coworkers for 28 days at a time. My wife, I'm around for 10 days. It's normally just those two groups of people. But it's like, I'll be thinking something and then they'll just say it.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And that's what we're getting into with the Age of Aquarius. So that's like technology and kind of getting off into like the woo-woo things, like out of the blue, out of the ordinary type of stuff. So
yeah, and
like,
she is, man. She's very much into it. She's super smart, man.
there you go. True Aquarius. Yeah. So just because I know myself, I'll kind of paint the picture as like, I'm a Leo, and I know it in two ways too. And this is where somebody will be like, oh shit. So in Western tropical, I'm a Leo sun, a Scorpio, almost cusp Libra rising, and a Virgo moon. In Vedic, I think it's sidereal or Vedic in general. I don't know. But Cancer sun, Libra rising, and Leo moon. In some aspects, I feel like it's more the Vedic side feels more true, but I can definitely see in like in the Western world, it's most definitely the Leo Scorpio Libra cusp Virgo moon. So what that is, like the moon is like, I found this funny too. I'm gonna kind of sidetrack on this for a second. With the moon, like there's some people out there, some scientists, whatever, is saying like the moon's hollow and like potentially people are living in the moon, blah 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 blah. Well, there's also like a esoteric group out there that say like the telepathy tapes.
Okay,
it's a new podcast, but it's autistic people and kind of exploring their gifts. Kind of going back to that telepathy thing. But it's basically to say like some people think that there is like a central sun or a central universe or whatever that our souls come from, which I believe that our souls are eternal. So if you think about the moon, it's kind of like being that hollow, that center point, kind of where you come from. It's just always there.
Yeah.
Just don't tune in. So like in Western, it's like Virgo perfectionism. Like the symbol is like I think it's the maiden with a thing of wheat. So it's kind of like all kind of good things and holiness. I'm probably butchering that, but and then in tropical, the rising is the Scorpio. So it's kind of like going down into the depths, kind of like the things that sting, the scorpion.
Yeah. And
through that, rising to the sun, to the outer people, to like your projection out into the world, being Leo. Either kind of some archetypes of that is like leadership or kind of like self-actualization, kind of like flamboyant in a way, like proud. I don't know, go watch The Lion King. So and that's kind of like, in a way, my journey is like the moon rising to the sun. And then like in Western, it's like, as a Cancer, like a lot of times I'm going to be like closed off, kind of like in my corner, kind of like ready to attack as a crab, you know? But like ultimately, like I'm more tuned into myself or to other people. Yeah. And just like watching basically if you go to prom and you look at that kid in the corner of the room, like that's like I'm watching, but I'm like,
yeah, I think mine,
in my shell,
if I'm not mistaken, are double Libra and
Makes
a Capricorn.
sense.
And I'm a Libra. Well, what does that mean?
So
that's what's so crazy, bro.
Because
I always hear, bro.
I wish I had Courtney because she'd be able to like validate me on this. It's like, all right, so from your Capricorn, you're looking at materialism, you're looking at the devil, you're looking at a couple of things, but it's like the nitty gritty of like the old world in a sense. In Libra, both has a rising and a sun, which is also, I think it's also like my mom's, but it's like the life of the party. I think we're in Libra season now.
About to be, I think. So. Yeah, I think at the end of this.
So it's like, and you can also get numerology here. So the 9 is like the wrapping up the endings, as well as like the liberation or the scales. I mean, it, like if you think about the scales, it's both balancing fun and leadership, like all kind of heady things, but like just holding the balance. So when I think about that, I don't know what else you do, but just and say, okay, going back into sales, you were a head salesman, right? So you came from material things and you came to like kind of balance it out. So like you hold in that position, you were holding like the power between the person and the object you were selling. It was like, it's perfect in a sense. Not saying you probably want to go out back and do sales because you know about it. Like
but yeah, I mean, and I've been, natural born, and I was like,
yeah.
I get it, but I have the talent for it. But
yeah.
just.
And then here, you're the host. Like.
Always doing something to be.
Yeah, like you get to hold the scale between the listener's ear and your guest's ear.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Like kind of.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, kind of painting like you're the, what's it called? Kind of like the projector. Like, here's where you're going, maybe. Here's the next question to kind of provoke what the listener might be thinking.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So like Capricorn to Libra, double Libra, it's pretty cool. Like you've been running your running your course.
Yeah.
And if you're not, like, life's going to throw something at you to, like the universe is going to like, hey, nah, I got you. You better, figure it out.
It's been a crazy life, man. It's been a crazy life, but I got used to it. It's just always something. Like, I always joke on the podcast, like, something happens every week, right? Mm-hmm. And this week I forgot the fucking SD card.
Yeah. Like, so, okay, I just thought about something else. Is like, if you didn't want to do this, it'd be like radio DJ. You're holding the balance between the listeners. You're kind of like painting them up. What's next? And music. Yeah. Like I said, I'm very novice at this. There's many more things that can also kind of paint the picture into like your Jupiter lines and all that. And but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you get to look at and it can also kind of paint your picture into like your family life, who you're going to marry, stuff like that. But I did touch on something else, which was numerology. So like the one being kind of like the masculine, because there's multiple archetypes to a lot of things or multiple aspects to look at. So the one is like the father, masculine, the beginning, kind of like the light of creation. Number two is like the feminine, kind of like where the two had to come and balance out the one for a duality aspect, or like a yin and yang type of thing. Number three is like Trinity, kind of like the child, in a sense. 4, safety, security, things of that nature. 5 is like the shift. For example, going back to the dimension thing, when people in the spirituality context, or community, I should say, they start talking about the 3D to the 5D. When I first started hearing about it, a lot of people were trying to make it sound like we're going to leave this world and go to another one. Not quite that.
Well, do you have anything else that you'd like to get out or talk about?
I could probably wrap it there. Is that just follow the kind of the nudge to go look for information beyond you. If it has ology, the last word, I'd probably go pay it an ear. Numerology, cartography, astrology, channeling, all the clairs and things of that nature, like clairvoyance, claircognizance, psychology, psychic therapy, which does have some bad connotations and stigma to it, but it's like all good practitioners or healers or whatever. If you find a good one, they're great. If not, it can get kind of weird. Telepathy, things of that nature. And I say that because coming into the age of Aquarius, the world's going to be changing. And this is like a 13,000 year cycle. Like it's going to take a long time before we get there. There's undertone notes of it always happening. And there's a lot of prophets out there that are saying things that to come. And they very well could be. But the more that people get into the same line of thinking, like get with the program of things that are beyond us and ourselves, and just like pay an ear to more knowledge and things of this nature, the faster and further we can go.
And I think there's always that shift. There's always that spark between one generation to the next where they take it a different level or in a different direction.
And let me clarify, not AI.
Not AI. Yeah.
AI is a tool. Okay. But ultimately, one day it might come and it's gonna fall apart eventually. But it's gonna come to a day where you're kind of in the choice of technology or your own self and sovereignty and freedom.
What do you think on that note? Like, how do you see the future? How do you see the next 50 years, the next 100?
I'll say this. I listened to a channeler, and she says, Siri Ariana is her name. And she said in the next 100 to 200 years, you're looking at kind of 3 groups of people. The U.S. might have broken out into a civil war amongst themselves to where they separate into like 4 different regions. Kind of think like Hunger Games type of situation. But it becomes kind of like rebels and like people of tribal nature, spiritual nature, all that aspect. There's like a hybridization. We've taken kind of both the best worlds. And then there's the progressive, which is like all about human bionics and stuff like that, like getting into almost cyborgs and far out stuff. Microchips in the head, and to which there might be measures of underlying undertone control that you may not be aware of.
Mind control?
Yeah. So it's like, how much of yourself do you want to keep and use the muscle to obtain? Like, do you still want to be able to be in touch with spirit and all this stuff?
Correct me if I'm wrong. So what you're saying is some humans will still be human. Some humans will be more ingrained with that other world.
Absolutely.
And live by it.
Look at today.
Yeah. See it.
There. It's been fun.
Dylan, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast this week.
Thank you, Edward. Yes.
Yeah, it was super cool, man. I was looking forward to the conversation.
Because I've even, listened twice back on some other people's stuff like Courtney's and Michael's. And
yeah.
Michael is what inspired me to come on for sure.
Michael's is everybody's.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know we're getting
No, you're
on
good.
further,
We don't yet.
but Michael, like his name is, because my middle name's Michael, stands for strength.
Yeah, and trust me, he's had to use a lot of it.
And you got
And the crazy
Archangel
thing
Michael.
is that with Michael's, everybody wants to hear more.
Yeah.
And I just texted him last week. I think I was just like, Mike, we gotta do part 2, baby.
He's a strong guest, man.
And he was like, I got you, bro.
Hell
Just
yeah.
come up here. I got you. I was like, because he only touched the surface.
Yeah.
There's so much under the surface with him. And I always text him. I was like, man, you inspire me so much, man. It's like,
Wow.
I look up to you so much, man. Like, he's always been, super cool, man. Like, since we were little kids, man, it was always been like, cousin Mike.
Yeah,
So it's cool to still have that relationship with them. Because, as you get older, people drift away and stuff like that.
absolutely. All the time.
So it's cool that this podcast is bringing me closer to my family because they all grew up in Dallas and I grew up down here. So it's really cool to get in touch with them, and the fact that they are cool with being on the podcast as well. I've gotten a lot of help and support from friends and family.
Joni Patry, she's a major astrologer out of Dallas too, just to kind of put a little.
It's so crazy, man. Like the more I do this, the more it's connected. The more all of it's connected. Like you talk about Michael, your middle name is Michael.
And that's what we're trying to go to.
Talk about Courtney, and then you're connected with what Courtney was talking about. Like this whole podcast is just like already intertwined. I'm just fixing it up. Like it was already here.
And if you want to go into numerology, like kind of like this episode is like the love child of their two.
Yeah. Very cool, man. But yeah, again, thanks for the third time.
Thank you.
Man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on, Dylan. This is House of Origin. I'm your host, Eddie G. And this week I had
Dylan. Peace, love, and Godspeed.
Later.